time to ride the motorbike and talk about stuff. And the first step in that is to cold start this 2017 Aprilia Tuono V4 1100 factory with an SC Project CRT exhaust. Hi, I'm Chad, and welcome to Virtual Reality. I like to start my vlogs in virtual reality because it is a place where we can do wheelies. And back to reality. Good to be back on the old Tuono, old Thunder Girl. So, if you're new to the channel, hi, I'm Chad, and I love motorcycles. I've got this beautiful Aprilia Tuono V4 1100 factory that I like to clown around on and occasionally take to the racetrack, as well as a 2012, so good, as well as a 2012 Triumph Daytona 675R race bike. And just the weekend before last, I was actually out at Buttonwillow Raceway Park for the final round of the California Road Race Association's 2022 season, at which I took my second race win ever in the Amateur 600 Supersport class and actually finished P3 overall in the 600 Supersport class between amateurs and experts. So awesome result I'm super proud of and stoked on, and a great way to conclude my first year in 2 months of club racing. So if you're new to the channel, I implore you to subscribe and I will do a wheelie for you right now. But regardless of whether or not you subscribe, I just want to tell you that I'm feeling pretty good. Feeling pretty proud of myself for what I have accomplished in just a year and 2 months of club racing. I'll actually drop a playlist down below that has my whole track riding experience from 2020 on. In 2020, I got back on the racetrack for the first time in almost 3 years after having a pretty nasty high side in March of 2017, breaking a few bones, and I just kind of worked my way up. Did a few track days that year, did a few more, and started club racing in June of 2021, which was preceded by, I think, probably 10 track days in the first half of 2021. So definitely got reacclimated there. It's pretty good, and I've just been chipping away at it ever since, getting faster and faster, little by little, just about every time I've been going out. It's been fun, but it's pretty crazy. My first club racing weekend in June of 2021, I only finished one of the 2 races that I entered, and I finished it in 13th out of 15th in amateur. The first race I had entered, I ran off track twice, and that was one I decided I should probably call it, go back into my garage, and just regroup for the second race of the day, and just with the goal of finishing that one. Pretty humbling experience, actually. Well, that one didn't pop so great. Still sounding good though. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Takes a totally separate skill set to be able to race than just to go fast around a racetrack. And I'm not saying that I'm super fast or anything. I could ride a motorcycle at a respectable pace, I think. Look at that view. Wow, beautiful. You know, after my first race weekend, I wasn't sure if I would ever even finish on a podium, let alone win a race. So I have to say, I am pretty proud of myself that I have achieved that milestone, not just once, but twice in amateur. I hope that's okay to say that I'm proud of myself for that. I've worked very hard to get here. So if you haven't caught the vlog or the full race from that last race weekend, which happened less than 2 weeks ago from when I'm posting this, I'll throw a card up above here. Go check it out. But on top of that, with that second win, I'm actually the 2022 California Road Race Association Amateur 600 Supersport Champion. So Another amazing milestone, if I'm okay saying that I never would have thought possible a year ago. So it does feel really good indeed, and I've worked very hard to accomplish that. Put a lot of time in at the track, been very analytical with my riding, finding ways to go faster. Feels really good to have that all pay off. And all of the money that I have spent, because it is not cheap to race a motorcycle, even at a club level. Now that result, I am still waiting to be officially certified by CRA, but based on the point standings on MyLaps, which is how they have scored all of the races and kept time for everybody, I have the lead on the Amateur 600 Supersport class by 24 points, and there are no rounds left, so yeah. My understanding is CRA is going to have a banquet and awards ceremony sometime later this year, so I'm going to keep my eye out for that, but regardless, feels pretty awesome. So, now that CRA season is done, I've been asking myself, what's next? For the month of September, which is just getting going, I actually don't think I'm going to make it out to the racetrack at any point. There's an off chance I might go at the end of the month, but I'm thinking I'm going to take a little bit of time to just relax, hang out at home. My girlfriend and I recently bought a house back in June, and we're still getting settled. The past few months have been a whirlwind with me going racing and just other family events and obligations. Mostly good stuff for sure, but we just haven't really had the time that we wanted to get settled. So I think I'm just going to take some time to relax a little bit and start training a little bit too. I did buy a bicycle, so cycling is going to be a priority for me going forward. I'm also going to use some time during September to do a little service on the Daytona 675R. She is a tired girl, and I have worked her very, very, very hard, and she has really been outstanding to me. Super reliable, hasn't been an issue, but time to check her valves, I think. But once that's all done and we get into October, specifically the back half of October, I think we're going to be back on track. There's a few track days that have intrigued me. A day at Auto Club, which I have a credit for that is going to expire, so I better use it. There's the Aprilia Racer Days event at Buttonwillow on the 17th of October. That looks pretty good to me. It'd be great to get out there and also swing a leg over a 2022 Tuono V4 and or RS V4. Then there's CVMA in October as well, which I think I might want to try to make. Outside of that, might try to make the December round of CVMA as well, so got to keep that racing muscle loose. That was a big pop. I was also thinking about trying to make it up to Laguna Seca again in early October to race with AFM, but I don't think AFM would let me race. I tried to do a reciprocity round with them last year, and they failed to recognize my CRA license, and that was just a Buttonwillow. To race that round in September of last year, they wanted me to basically behave as though I had never club raced before. Take another new racer school that was approved by them, participate in a clubman race, and only then would they allow me to run with the regular guys. So that was kind of disappointing, and I had an idea to try to work around not having a license, but I've even heard that they're not going to let any reciprocity racers enter the Laguna round. It's going to be AFM members only, so I'm not really sure if that's realistic. And it would be expensive to get back up there too. Just the cost of fuel alone, it's considerable. But either way, gonna be keeping the yellow plate on for just a few more months here. But come 2023 and the first round of CRA of that season, I think I'm gonna go white plate. I think I'm gonna move up to expert. I did take a championship. I've won a couple amateur races. I think it makes sense for me to start racing with the experts. I want to continue to get faster, and if I'm racing kind of at the top of my class, I'm going to be a bit more limited in what I can learn and practice. One of the reasons I've been able to increase my speed as much as I have in the past year is because I was racing with faster people, and now I'm racing with people that are at about the same level as me. So while there is a little bit to learn here and there for sure, and we can continue to push ourselves little by little, I think it would behoove me to jump on in the deep end with the experts and hopefully pick up a lot more speed in less time. But with that white plate, I'm also thinking it might be time to try racing a different motorcycle. Now, as I said before, my 2012 Triumph Daytona 675R, Brandy, who is a fine girl, is getting kind of tired. Tired of carrying my giant 6'3" self on her and trying to duke it out with all these 600s that make a little more horsepower than we do and usually have considerably lighter riders aboard. And while I'm sure she has more to give, I still have the stock header with the cat and exit valve in place, and just the slip-on exhaust, a stock air filter. Despite that, she is an older motorcycle, and as such lacks some of the newer developments in chassis design, engine performance, electronics, and things that will probably help me go faster without as extensive of a modifications. But yes, my entire 1 year and 2 month racing career has been aboard a 10-year-old middleweight Supersport bike. And while she's been a fantastic bike and was super well equipped from the get-go, with the Olin suspension, the quick shifter, the Brembo calipers, I didn't make many modifications to her and was able to take a championship and a couple race wins. Again, an amateur, but nonetheless. But I think it would be fun to try racing a different motorcycle, whether that be something in the same segment, like an R6, or something completely different, like a twin, an RS660, or maybe an RSV4. Just gonna throw that out there. That would certainly help a little bit in terms of the power to weight disadvantage that I currently suffer from on my 675R. While I'd still be at a little bit of a disadvantage because I'm just a big boy, it wouldn't be as exaggerated as it is on the 600, being that my bike is already down on power compared to basically everybody else. But then you put me, who weighs 30 to 50 pounds more at least than everybody else that's out there, if not more than that, and you have a package that needs to work very hard on the brakes and in the corners to keep up with everybody else and make up for the deficit on the straightaways and corner exit. So I'm pretty open-minded at this point. I am balling on a budget, so not going to be buying a brand new bike and doing a full build with it. Ideally, I'd like to find something secondhand, something that's already been converted into a track bike that I could get for a reasonable price. But we'll see how realistic that ends up being, and if I have to adjust my expectations at all. But I think the important thing to take away here is that I fully intend to continue racing as an expert in 2023. And I'm really excited to see how this journey continues to go. But anywho, with that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. Again, I'll drop that link down below to the full playlist of all of my motorcycle track day and racing adventures since the beginning of 2020. You can see my progression over time if you want to spend a lot of time watching YouTube videos made by yours truly. But if not, check out the race video. I'll put that on the end screen right there for your convenience when the video wraps. And thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, despite it being kind of dark, forgot to calibrate the time of day for my virtual reality computer simulator. But if you did enjoy this video, be sure to give it a gentle little click of the like button and consider subscribing for more motorcycling content and adventures like this. Excited for my racing prospects for the remainder of this year and for 2023, and I'd love for you to join me on that adventure. Should I hop on a fully fared superbike? Should I stick to the middleweight category that I have known and grown to love? Should I try out a twin? Let me know down in the comments below. Thanks again so much for watching, and I'll hope to catch you in the next one. Until then, later.